She called my business a joke, said I was playing with candles like a child. She didn't say it in private. She laughed in front of everyone at work, mocked my little side hustle like it was some silly dream. Good luck selling wax online, she smirked. You'll be back begging for a real job in no time. But then the layoffs came, and she was the first to go. Funny how life flips the script. Because now every Friday afternoon, I sign her paycheck bow. My name is Maya Jensen, I lived in Tempe, Arizona, and for 3 years I worked in the accounting department of a mid-sized insurance firm. Gray cubicles, cheap coffee, passive-aggressive emails. You know the type. My life wasn't tragic, just uninspired. Every day felt like a copy of the last until one evening, standing in my cramped garage, I melted wax for the first time. It started with a YouTube video, just one. A woman in Vermont was making candles with desert-inspired scents, selling them from her kitchen. She looked so alive, fulfilled. I wanted that. So I bought supplies with the last $100 in my checking account. Scented oils, dyes, wicks, and wax. I made my first batch of candles while the desert heat still clung to the concrete walls of my garage. They were lopsided. One had a hair stuck in it. But when I lit the cactus bloom scent and the aroma filled the air, I smiled for the first time in weeks. I started making candles every weekend, then every night. It gave me peace, purpose. At work, I kept it quiet. I didn't want to be the weirdo melting wax at home. But secrets don't last long in small offices. Amanda found out. Amanda Wilkins was the kind of woman who wore stilettos to the copier and told you her Starbucks order before she said hello. She had a way of making compliments sound like threats. One day during lunch, I was scrolling through my Etsy dashboard on my phone, only 4 sales. But still, it felt big. Amanda glanced over my shoulder, over my eat. Oh my God, she laughed, loud enough for the entire break room. Are you seriously selling candles? I froze. Someone else chuckled. Wait, she continued, you're actually serious about this. I tried to smile. Yeah, just something I'm doing on the side. She smirked, tilting her head. Well, good luck with that. Hope your wax empire takes off. Laughter rippled across the room. I wanted to disappear. That night, I sat in my car for 10 minutes before driving home. I wanted to quit. What was I even doing? I wasn't an entrepreneur. I was a nobody making candles next to a broken lawnmower. But something in me refused to stop. Maybe it was pride, maybe it was spite. I made a new batch that night, midnight blue jars with vanilla smoke and prickly pear. And I posted a reel on Instagram, my hands pouring the wax, the flicker of the flame, a soft desert track playing in the background. No one watched it, except 2 people. One of them was me. Still, I posted again the next day. And the next, I'd come home from my 9 to 5, pull my hair into a bun, and become the founder of Desert Glow Candles from 6 to midnight. Amanda kept laughing. I kept working. One day, she sent me a TikTok. It was a skit of someone quitting their job to become an artisanal soap goddess, only to come crawling back to corporate. The caption read, "Don't quit your day job." I didn't reply. But I saved that video, just in case. Around that time, I started waking up earlier, 5:00 a.m. I researched scent retention, branding strategies, shipping costs. I learned how to run Facebook ads. I learned how to write copy that sold warmth, not wax. My weekends became mini production lines. I upgraded my garage setup with folding tables and a better pouring pot. I even printed custom labels. All while Amanda watched from her corner of the office, making little remarks whenever I looked tired. "Late night with your candles," she'd say with a wink. I just nodded. Because I had a vision, and she had none. The numbers were still small, but steady. 112s in profit one month, 248ers the next. I wasn't rich, but I was building, quietly. And if there's one thing I've learned, you don't need to announce your moves. You just need to keep making them. They laughed, and I kept pouring wax. By the time December rolled around, I had spent nearly every evening in that garage, sleeves rolled up, fingers sticky with oils, music low in the background. While others were posting selfies at holiday parties, I was wrapping desert frost candles in brown butcher paper and handwriting thank you notes. There was something beautiful in it, sacred, even a kind of silent rebellion. Amanda, meanwhile, was planning the company's secret Santa exchange like it was the Met Gala. She cornered me one day at the copy machine, holding her peppermint mocha like a trophy. "You joining this year, Maya, or too busy with your, wax club?" I smiled politely. "I'm in." I pulled Amanda's name. Oh, the irony. I gave her a hand-poured soy candle in a crystal jar with the words "Glow Different" etched in gold. She opened it in front of everyone, let out a fake gasp, then held it up like a dead mouse. A candle? Wow, how niche. Everyone laughed again. But I noticed something. She didn't throw it away. She took it home. That was the week I made my first 1,000. It hit me like a rush. Orders started doubling. I was up until 3 a.m., packaging shipments by hand, writing labels, running to the post office on my lunch breaks. I launched a Valentine's line with scents like wild rose dust and sweet agave, and it sold out in 36 hours. Amanda had no idea. She kept mocking, but with less conviction now, a little more caution in her tone, like she didn't want to be left behind but couldn't admit it. Then the email came. Subject staff restructure. They called it a strategic consolidation, corporate language for you're being laid off. I sat in the conference room with 6 others, Amanda included, while HR read from a printed memo like we were names on a list, not people with rent and dreams. Amanda went pale. She whispered, No, this can't be right. But it was. I remember packing my things slowly, not because I was sad, but because I was calculating. I had a backup plan, I had Desert Glow. Amanda had stilettos and a stack of unpaid credit cards. She ran after the HR director, pleading, bargaining. I walked out the front doors with a box of desk plants and a quiet smile. For the first time in years, I felt light. But don't get me wrong, it wasn't easy. My savings were thin. I had to stretch every dollar. I downgraded my apartment, sold my car, and took the bus to supply stores. I lived off canned soup and YouTube tutorials. But I was free. And when you're free with a fire inside you, that's when things get dangerous for the ones who once laughed. I threw myself into the business. I rebranded my labels, hired a designer on Fiverr to revamp the logo, changed my Instagram bio to founder and CEO. It felt bold. It felt earned. Then came the day everything changed. I posted a video on TikTok, just a 15-second clip of me pouring lavender wax into matte black jars, laced with audio of wind chimes and Arizona birdsong. It went viral. 1 million views in 2 days. Then 5 million. I had to turn off notifications just to sleep. Orders flooded in from all over the country, California, Texas, even Brooklyn. I was drowning in demand and adrenaline. I hired 2 high school interns to help pack boxes, bought new shelving, a better printer. My garage now looked like a tiny warehouse. And every week, I wrote myself a paycheck, small at first, but real. Meanwhile, Amanda started posting vague tweets about toxic workplaces and unemployment blues. I didn't comment. But I saw. Weeks later, I got an email through my website. Subject job inquiry. No resume, just a message. Hi, I'm looking for part-time work. Any openings in fulfillment or admin? Thanks, Amanda W. I stared at it for a long time. Part of me wanted to delete it. Another part smiled. I replied the next morning. Hi, Amanda. Thanks for reaching out. We're currently hiring for a fulfillment assistant. The pay is $18 hours, flexible hours. Let me know if you're interested. She replied in minutes. And just like that, she was back in a different building, under a different hierarchy. Mine. I didn't bring up the candles. I didn't remind her of the laughs. I didn't need to, because her silence was enough. The way she avoided eye contact, the way her voice softened around me, the way she lingered near the door before asking, Do you need anything else before I go? No smugness, no stilettos, just Amanda, in sneakers, folding boxes. She packed orders with the same label she once rolled her eyes at. Glow different. And every time I printed her paycheck, I paused, just for a second, to feel it, that full circle moment, that silent, heavy, powerful satisfaction. Not revenge, not spite, just justice. The kind that smells like vanilla smoke and desert rain. I thought hiring Amanda would feel like victory, but it didn't. It felt strange, like staring at a version of my past I'd outgrown. Now asking if she should tape the boxes lengthwise or across. Still, I said nothing, because success doesn't always come with fireworks. Sometimes it's quiet, heavy, like the way your name looks printed above someone else's on a paycheck. Amanda showed up on time. She folded tissue paper with precision. She never complained. But her silence carried weight. She wasn't the same sharp-tongued woman who once mocked me by the vending machine. Now she was cautious, careful. She asked questions in soft tones. She kept her phone in her bag. She avoided eye contact unless absolutely necessary. And every time she passed my office, the one with the little gold plaque that read Maya Jensen, founder, I saw her glance sideways. Maybe it was regret. Maybe it was recognition. The warehouse space was small but functional, an upgrade from my garage. We had real shelves now, a packing station, a ring light for social content. My cousin Rory came in on weekends to help with logistics, and I'd hired a college intern named Lexi to manage TikTok engagement. Desert Glow wasn't just candles anymore. It was becoming a brand. Still, I never let myself get comfortable. I woke at 5:30 every morning, started with tea and numbers sales reports, restock schedules, customer feedback, then poured wax until noon, meetings after lunch, emails after that, TikToks before dinner. I didn't need to hustle this hard. but I wanted to because for years I'd been underestimated, brushed aside, diminished. Now I was building something no one could laugh at. And yet, sometimes I did wonder what Amanda thought. Did she remember every sarcastic jab, every smirk, every time she called my dream cute? One Friday afternoon, as I walked past the fulfillment table, I overheard Lexi ask her, "So, how do you know Maya?" Amanda hesitated, just for a breath. "We used to work together long time ago." That was it. No mention of the break room laughter, the mockery, the layoff, just the sanitized version. And maybe that was enough. Maybe we all deserve the chance to rewrite our parts. Still, I wasn't naive. I knew who she had been, and I knew who I was becoming. By spring, we were shipping over 800 units a month. Our signature scent, Desert Rain, got featured in a home decor influencer's Mother's Day gift guide. That one post drove 4,000 new visitors to our site. I had to scramble to keep up, hired 2 new assistants, upgraded our shipping software, reached out to a local ceramicist to co-design limited edition jars. Everything was scaling fast, and Amanda, she kept her head down and her work clean. She never once asked for a raise, but I gave her one anyway. Not because I owed her, but because leadership isn't about payback, it's about power and how you choose to hold it. That summer, we got invited to a local makers market in Scottsdale. Big crowd, high rollers, retail buyers. I gave Amanda a choice: stay and manage fulfillment or join us at the booth. She looked surprised. "You want me at the booth?" I nodded. "You've been here long enough. You know the product." She said yes. The day of the event, she wore a desert glow tee and helped set up candles in pyramids of color saguaro bloom on top, crimson dust at the base. I caught her talking to a woman in linen who complimented the scent throw. Amanda smiled, leaned in, and said, "We use a coconut soy blend. It holds fragrance beautifully." "We?" That one word stayed with me. On the drive back, Amanda turned to me. "You built something really special, Maya." I kept my eyes on the road. "Thank you." She hesitated. I was kind of a jerk. Back at the firm, I said nothing, because I wanted her to feel the silence. She continued, "I think I was jealous, or maybe afraid. You were brave. I wasn't." I pulled into the warehouse lot and parked, then looked at her. "You were cruel," I said, "but I was quiet, and sometimes silence is stronger than pride." She nodded. Didn't argue, didn't apologize again. She just got out of the car and walked into the building, shoulders straighter than before. After that, something shifted. She became more vocal in team meetings, suggested new packaging options, noticed when inventory ran low. She started writing thank you notes in the boxes on her own. I never forgot what she'd said, but I didn't need to, because now she worked for me, and not just in title, in energy, in respect. And every Friday afternoon, as I sat down to sign paychecks, I'd pause on hers. Amanda Wilkins, the woman who laughed at my dream, now paid by the hour by the very dream she once mocked. And somehow, that was enough. I didn't need revenge. I just needed to win. And I did. Growth has a way of revealing things. Not just about others, but about yourself. By the time Desert Glow turned 2, I was negotiating with national retailers. We had a pop-up space in downtown Phoenix and were in talks with a lifestyle subscription box. Revenue hit 6 figures that quarter. My accountant called me formidable. I just called it overdue. But with growth came pressure. Bigger orders, thinner margins, more voices in the room. I'd spent years building this brand out of solitude and silence now. It buzzed with opinions, advice, caution. Amanda noticed the shift, too. She wasn't the fulfillment assistant anymore. She had grown into something between operations and morale booster. Everyone liked her. She knew the rhythms, when to speak up, when to stand back. I didn't want to admit it, but I needed her. One afternoon, I found her reorganizing the back room without being asked. Shelves labeled, inventory updated, expiration dates color-coded. I stood in the doorway, watching her for a moment. She looked up, just making it easier for the next rush. "You didn't have to," I said. She shrugged. I wanted to. It wasn't just the job anymore. It was the mission, and that changed everything. That fall, we had our biggest challenge yet. A wholesale client based in Austin ordered 500 units for a holiday campaign. It was ambitious, but doable, until the freight company lost half the shipment. Gone. No trace, no refund. Just like that, my largest client pulled out, said they couldn't take the risk. I was devastated. For 2 days, I didn't leave my apartment. I sat in silence, replaying every decision, every misstep. Maybe I'd scaled too fast. Maybe I wasn't ready. Maybe Amanda was right back then. Maybe this was all just wax and dreams. Then she called. Her voice was calm, steady. "You built this from nothing. Don't let one setback undo everything." I didn't respond. She added, "Come in tomorrow. We've got a plan." When I walked into the warehouse the next morning, the entire team was already there. Amanda had mapped out a recovery strategy. She'd contacted our past customers, offering exclusive holiday bundles. She coordinated a local legends feature with 3 other women-owned brands. She even emailed the Austin client, offering a personalized redemption kit at cost. I stood there, stunned. This was no longer just my business. It was our empire. And Amanda had become its spine. We salvaged the quarter. Sales didn't just recover, they grew. We gained 6,000 new followers and tripled returning customer rates. Our community rallied around us like wildfire. And I realized something I hadn't allowed myself to feel. Pride, not in the business, in the team, in Amanda. One late night, as we closed down the warehouse, she lingered by the front door. I've been thinking, she said, I want to do more here. Not just operations. I want to grow with this. I looked at her, really looked. Gone was the girl who smirked behind Starbucks cups. In her place stood a woman who had earned every inch of trust. I was going to ask you the same thing, I said. We shook hands, formally, like founders. The next day, I made it official: Amanda Wilkins, Director of Fulfillment and Logistics. With a salary, benefits, a stake. The same woman who once joked that my candles couldn't pay rent now had equity in them. We didn't talk about the past, not anymore, because it no longer lived between us. It had transformed into something better. That December, we were invited to a National Makers Summit in San Diego. Panels, workshops, keynotes. I was asked to speak. The night before the event, Amanda and I sat in the hotel lobby, prepping slides over lukewarm coffee. I still remember when you gave me that candle for Secret Santa, she said. I laughed. The one you called niche? She smiled. I burned it for weeks. I just didn't want to admit it. We both laughed this time, and there was no bitterness in it. Just history, rewritten. The next morning, I stepped onto the stage in front of 400 entrepreneurs. I told them the truth. That success doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it flickers. Sometimes it smells like prickly pear and determination. And sometimes, if you're lucky, it hands you back the power in silence. I didn't mention Amanda by name. I didn't need to. She was there, sitting in the front row, nodding. The same woman who once doubted me, now cheering the loudest. Growth, I've learned, isn't just about numbers. It's about grace. It's about holding space for change, even in the people who once tried to break you, especially in them, because when you grow past the need to win, you've already won. They say power changes people, but I think it reveals them. By the time Desert Glow entered its 3rd year, we weren't just a candle brand, we were a movement. Our Instagram hit 200K followers. BuzzFeed named us one of the top 10 indie brands that'll ruin big retail. Celebrities were tagging us. We partnered with a climate initiative to plant trees for every purchase. And through it all, I never forgot how it started. A cracked jar, a garage that smelled like wax and doubt, a woman named Amanda who laughed too loud in the break room. Now, every Friday, that same woman walked into my office with the payroll binder. Quiet, professional. And I signed her check with the same hand I once used to pour wax over borrowed hopes. Amanda had become essential to the operation. No one packed a box faster. No one knew the SKUs better. She mentored the interns, organized supply chain meetings, spotted issues before I did. She never asked for praise, but I gave it anyway, because that's what leaders do. Still, there were days I remembered the girl I used to be. Nights I cried in this car after work. The loneliness, the fear, the sting of laughter. And on those days, I didn't feel smug. I felt strong. I felt like I had honored her. In July, we moved into our new HQ 3,000 square feet of sunlit space near downtown Tempe. Exposed beams, soft concrete, a corner office I designed myself, filled with desert plants and shelves of archived products, each candle from every collection since day one. It was more than decor. It was memory. One afternoon, I found Amanda standing in front of that shelf, eyes locked on the very first edition of Cactus Bloom, the one in the lopsided tin, the one I gave her years ago. You kept it, she said, voice low. Of course, I replied. It's where I started. She turned. You know, I never thought I'd be proud to work for someone else. I raised an eyebrow. She smiled. But then again, you're not just someone else. It hit different because this wasn't about candles anymore. This was legacy. Later that month, we hosted our first team retreat 3 days in Sedona. Reflection, strategy, hiking, wine by the fire. On the last night, I stood before the team, 15 people now, most of them women, all of them brilliant. I told them the truth, about the mockery, about the nights I wanted to give up, about Amanda. I didn't name her, but I saw her eyes, and I saw them water. I said, you will always have people who doubt you, who laugh, who call your vision unrealistic. Let them. Don't waste your breath proving them wrong. Use it to build, to rise. 1 cent, 1 step, one silent victory at a time. We toasted, and for the first time in a long time, I cried. But they were different tears. Full, whole, rooted. Amanda found me after. I deserved that, she said. No, I replied. You earned this. We didn't hug, but we didn't have to. Sometimes the most honest things are left unspoken. In September, we expanded to wholesale in Canada. I was invited to speak on a panel in New York. Amanda led the team while I was gone flawlessly. She even landed a new partnership with a boutique hotel chain in Santa Fe. She had become everything she once said I couldn't be, and I had become everything I once feared I'd never be. The day Forbes listed Desert Glow on their Women to Watch list, I printed 2 copies, one for my office, one I slipped into Amanda's inbox. She didn't say anything, but the next morning she wore Desert Glow's founder tee like armor and smiled. Now, when I think back to that first cruel laugh, I don't feel anger. I feel gratitude. Because without her doubt, I might have settled. Without the sting, I might have stalled. Amanda was once my reminder of what people can be at their worst. Now she is a reminder of what they can become at their best. Every Friday, I still sign the paychecks. And when I get to hers, I pause. Not for revenge, not for power, but for perspective, to remember who I was, who she was, and the space we had to grow into who we are now. Because the truth is, she laughed at my side hustle, but I didn't just prove her wrong. I turned her laughter into loyalty, her doubt into devotion. And every week, without saying a word, I sign her name right under mine, in ink, in grace, and in full circle silence,